And now it looks like he is feeling confident enough to pull the trigger, as now we have what could be the mother of all battles. Charge Lots trying to tank forward. Vikings working on the last remnants of that Skytoss Armada, taking out the Colossus as well. And actually a lot of this tanking force for Protoss is taken out, but a lot of SCV kills have been imparted here on Cure. Another fresh warp in the Warp Prison, though, is denied. Nice pick up there from Cure. Could be exactly what he needed to try to hold off just for a couple of more minutes. And now Stats is the one, tail between his legs. Fight Night friends, I just want to take a quick moment to thank you all so much for helping this channel reach the 100 subscriber mark. I love this game, I love casting, and it's insane to me that there are people out there who enjoy hearing my blabbering over their favorite players. 99% of you watching are not subscribed, so if you enjoy some StarCraft 2 Fight Night action, please do consider liking and subscribing. Thank you all again so much for 100 subs. Seriously, it means the world to me. And now, back to the action. Stats gonna run into this Terran force here as a single Colossus, and yeah, Cure likes that fight a lot more. 3 siege tanks and a Raven. And now trying to burrow the Widowmine. Siege tanks are not sieged yet. Auto turrets are going to go down, taking out a lot of the tanking force here for Stats. Gonna need some more charge lots if he wants to keep those high value units alive. And now Cure actually going to make good use of this position to just start teeing off on the gas here some of the structures from Stats. That's another double medevac drop heading down the left side of the map. Meanwhile, Cure gonna start elevating into this natural base location here. Gonna try to establish a beachhead, but this double medevac drop gonna drop in right on this 4th base, trying to morph in. Stats detaching a sizable force to deal with it though. And at the same time, nothing happening in the natural base there. So Stats actually gonna get a nice cleanup. Cure not able to take advantage of the double prong there. Sees that Cure's army has left, so he's gonna press forward and maybe try to draw Cure's army back here, jumping right onto a couple of these Vikings, and Cure is caught out in the open, but has somewhat of a surround. Nope, no units on that top side. He's trying to maneuver back. Stats has a lot of charge lots. He's going to be able to detach a lot of them and give Cure a lot to worry about here, as a Disruption Nova catches a decent amount of units there, and Cure's Stats is going to take this and run home with it. Nice little save there on those charge lots. All the other charge lots have been cleaned up, but 14 SCVs do go down. Still has a decent amount of workers. Is Stats though, and a nice anti-armor missile. So maybe wants to try to capitalize on it, but the Disruption Novas are zoning Cure's army out. Stats can land a big chunky one that could indeed change the entire course of this match. Doesn't have too many Disruption Novas though, and Cure's moving out without the support of his tanks, leaving a couple of them sieged up, but now he's taking the high ground. And Stats actually going to commit a little bit. It looks like popping the Guardian Shield, taking out the Raven, but a huge anti-armor missile. Charge lots right on top of the tanks there. And now only one tank left standing for Cure, as all of the charge lots get obliterated there due to the anti-armor missile. And Disruption Nova catches, does not catch actually. Nice denial there by Cure. More charge lots streaming through, has that forward warp in position, does Stats. Bowling, looking for some hits here. Could have ended up a lot worse if it weren't for that snipe there on the Disruption Nova, as another one clips the edge of that force, and now more charge lots streaming through. It is charge lot heaven here for Stats, as another Disruption Nova catches a Ghost and a Viking. Blink forward with a handful of Stalkers there. Stats trying to get more and more value out of these units, but again, forced to retreat. Surprise Disruption Nova catches a nice little chunk of units there. Cure just looked away from the screen a little too soon there, as more charge lots are streaming through. That one Nova may have just been what Stats needed to gain the upper hand, at least in the middle of this map here, as Cure's sniping observers, but in doing so, he leaves this right side base exposed, as Cure immediately trying to get an emergency repair. Can Stats snipe it down before the rest of the force comes barreling through? These Disruptors will be zoning out this army, keeping Cure from saving this base, as a big one lands, and another one catches some Marauders there. But trying to flank around is Cure, trying to exact his revenge on this Protoss force. No, you're not going to get away that easily, says Cure, but Stats is holding his ground and actually able to fight pretty well with the +3 attack upgrades. But again, without the charge loss to tank, his welcome is going to be overstayed here. Does not want to lose all of his army. popping a Guardian Shield. Again, pressing forward, more charge lots this time to help reinforce, but a huge Widowmine Connect is going to weaken up that force. And Kira now moving with much more authority. He knows he has to get something as another nice Disruption Nova and another. Getting a lot of value here from these Disruptor Novas is Stats. Able to really power through because of the zoning potential here of the Disruptors, as Stats is pulling the trigger yet again, barreling through the Liberator zones. He does not care much for him as these charge lots are soaking up all of this damage, trying to chase Cure all the way back home to his home base. His medevacs slowly running out of energy here as the charge lots start to fall, though Stats may be forced to retreat. Now the Liberators zoning up again, and Stats is just going to look to trade out as he has the superior economy, has a superior army as well. 3 Colossus, Boy's going to be pulled here a little bit. Guardian Shell popped, single Liberator, another one going to siege up, maybe a little bit too far forward there as Disruption Novas are going out, trying to catch what they can, and it does look like Stats might just have the numbers here to take the first game in this best of 3 as Cure taps out and Stats is up 1 point in the score sheet. Cure now splitting up his forces, again wants to draw Stats away, and I love this move here. Either Stats is focused on the Widow Mines and he doesn't lose all that much, or he's focused on this main force and the Widow Mines can do a tremendous amount of damage. And now here they both drop, but Stats is paying attention, pulling away the workers. Again, only 2 probes, but here using this opportunity to move forward onto that 4th base location. Stats gonna clean up this army here. Stats also looking to clean up this force here from Kira, but I think that's a bit too much bio, and I think these Colossus are in danger too, as Guardian Shield trying to save what it can, and Widowmine's trying to burrow right in the midst of that army. Kira losing a decent chunk of force there, as Kira is definitely trying to be more mobile, trying to be more aggressive and not let Stats get comfortable here. Stats trying to get a drop on these medevacs here, but unable to do so and losing probes, and he's just gonna tap out right away as Cure takes game number 2. And Cure is looking to right away just hard counter this, just sending a bunch of units across the map. No rhyme or reason, just you, get over there right now across to the other side of the map. Our Protoss opponent is going Phoenixes. He's not going to have a lot of muscle to defend, and Stats has some Adepts warped in, has this very forward shield battery position, so going to give him more space to trade in this defense. Stats has had the foresight to make another pylon to keep those buildings powered, and now going to be powering forward, picking up the Widowmine. That was really the big threat here, but now we have a Viking as well, and the shield battery is being very helpful here. Stats wisely fighting close to it, do as much damage as he hoped, and now with the Immortal out, actually, the prognosis is looking much better here for Stats. He's feeling confident enough to pull the trigger, zooming in and out with the Phoenixes, and now actually going to press forward too, picking up one Cyclone. The other one is still on the deck, and both Phoenixes will go down, but Stats has actually managed a pretty significant cleanup here of this force, and now is chasing Vikings with the Phoenixes, wanting to exact his revenge. Stats has gone from going on the back foot to being firmly in the driver's seat here as he's cleaning up basically everything here from Cure. A little unsettled that he hasn't seen much action on his side of the map, so he's going to press forward and get up into this nice juicy siege position here. Now the Tempest making their presence known. Just going to try to get some pickoffs from a distance. It's what they do best, but the Viking count is pretty significant here. I think perhaps more so than Stats took into account. But with the shield battery and now with the carriers too, this Skytoss Armada should be alright, but the Marines also have a lot to say about interceptors, as Stats is saying, no, you're not getting away so easily here. If he can keep these high value units alive and maybe make some decent use of the mothership abilities, as here we go, pulling the trigger now. Guardian Shell popped, and now the mothership activating its cloak. I don't know if there's a Viking with this, but a scan does go down, and actually the Armada not doing all that much, but the interceptors able to do a lot of DPS. The shield battery will fall, but Stats has been forced to fall back. Here is just sort of scratching his head and shrugging as he's able to get a lot of damage done with the ground bio force. Storm also out for Stats. Those are some overstimmed bio units. But Stats, I don't think, has the army quite yet to contest this move out to his 5th base now. Didn't have many workers on it anyway, so not a huge loss, but This could be the beginning of a concerning pattern here. We're just chunk through those units, especially when they don't have shield. But Stats is going to go for it anyway. He is again maxed out, has 10 gates behind this, so he can warp in plenty of reinforcements. High Templar as well with this. Now just trying to angle, trying to find a good position to set this fight up now as interceptors are being launched here, and that is a slow bubble being dropped on that clump of Terran units. Boys are being pulled. Stats trying to hold his ground and fight off this Terran force here, but a lot of the ground toss has been taken out, and the Vikings, a lot of them have their health low from a storm, but it looks like they actually are going to fall slowly but surely here. Stats, another warp in of Stalkers trying to join the fray. Charge lots would be super helpful here, but a lot of workers have fallen here for Cure, and Stats is continuing to press forward. He may have just done it with the Sky Toss Armada here, clearing up this base, and now Cure is going to be in a little bit of trouble economy-wise as well. Trying to make do what he can with the Vikings is Stats, but Cure has the Warp Prism, bringing it up from the rear. Another fresh warp in, and now things are looking extra dangerous here for Cure. And now it looks like he is feeling confident enough to pull the trigger, as now we have what could be the mother of all battles. Charge lots trying to tank forward. Vikings working on the last remnants of that Sky Toss Armada, taking out the Colossus as well. And actually a lot of this tanking force for Protoss is taken out, but a lot of SCV kills have been imparted here on Cure. Another fresh warp in. The Warp Prism though is denied. Nice pick up there from Cure. Could be exactly what he needed to try to hold off just for a couple of more minutes. And now Stats is the one, tail between his legs, heading back home towards his bases, as Stats is trying to stop this route here from his forces. Again, Vikings gonna work immediately on that Colossus, but the ground Protoss force, I'm not liking very much here for Stats. The Charge lots are falling, and Cure is going to advance forward.